Hi everyone, and welcome to episode 31 from the tiny tropical garden. It has been weeks since we've had rain, so I've spent a lot of time watering the garden, but the heat is helping everything grow very well, including this Eurphorbia, which I know you all love, but I've had to cut it back. It was a hard decision, but this John Phillips hybrid has got so much vigour it just keeps growing over the path. I've taken cuttings so I can afford to take a risk, and the shoots that I cut a couple of weeks beforehand have started to reshoot, so I've decided to give it a harsh cutback, and hopefully this will encourage smaller, bushier growth, at least for a year or two. I may have to dig this plant out in time, but we'll see, as I really like its evergreen foliage. And here's how it looks now. And it's actually opened up an opportunity for more planting. Which takes me back to last week when I received this delivery from Botanica. I told you to watch this video to find out what it is. Well, here it is. This is a Hedychium. The cultivar is Dr. Moy, and it's got this lovely speckled variegated foliage. I really love variegated leaves, and I'm going to add this to the raised bed, as it just adds a bit of leaf variation, and these Hedychiums or gingers have really exotic looking flowers, so it will look great come summer. And just beside the Hedychium is the Nicotiana sylvestris seedlings that we sowed a few weeks back. They're growing on really well and they've got enormous leaves. I was quite late to sow them, so understandably they're going to be late to flower, but they're certainly making progress. And in front of those are some Eucomis bulbs, or pineapple lily. This is just the regular bicolour. I've got 3 of them and they're planted at the front of the border as they look really exotic, but they're quite low growing. And I've been treated to this new addition to the garden. This is an Alstromeria and a cultivar called Indian Summer. It has these fantastic orange and yellow exotic looking flowers that bloom all summer, and they contrast really well against the silvery dark leaves. I've added this fantastic evergreen shrub with its serrated leaves. It's Isoplexis canariensis, otherwise known as the Canary Island foxglove, which has these tall spikes of orange flowers and is a really great plant for a tropical styled garden. And these new additions just sit really well in the raised bed. They're helping to add contrast and colour and are really bringing that tropical style to life. In time, the Amaranthus Love Lies Bleeding seedlings that we sowed will fill out the bed and we'll have these drooping panicles of pink flowers. And there'll be a similar colour to these Nicotiana flowers, which I've moved from the raised bed to the bed that follows down the side of the path. They help to add a bit of colour and they don't fade quite so much in the heat of the midday sun. You can see them here planted beneath the Eurphorbia that I've cut back and just behind that variegated Fatsia, and they're helping to fill out some of the spaces that have opened up. But now onto the central bed. This bed I love because it has such a variation of textures and leaf shapes, but it's time to add some flowers. So here I've added this salvia, Amistad. It's great and it will flower all summer into late autumn. And just to soften it slightly, my wife suggested putting this pink Nicotiana, and I think it works really well. These 2 flowers look great planted beneath the Melianthus major that has that bluey tint to its leaf, and under the Camerops humilis palm. It's a really tropical looking combination and I love it. I've taken a risk and planted this unknown begonia outside. It was picked up from college when they were giving away the houseplants, so I thought I'd risk it and see what happens. Another begonia I'm pleased to see recovering is this Begonia luxurians, which I planted out early in the year. You might remember I thought I'd lost it, but it's putting out new leaves, so I'm very happy about that. Hopefully we'll have a bit more of a plant by the end of summer. And these greenii Hedychium, or gingers, are starting to flower in the central beds, and I'm looking forward to seeing that splash of orange at the top of these spikes. Another plant which I was allowed to bring home from college was this Streptocarpus, which we used for a leaf cutting practical. And it's got these fantastic flowers and grows alongside streams in South Africa, so I thought I'd place it outside to see how it likes life here, but I'll take cuttings before winter sets in. It's really nice just to add that pink punch of colour that is otherwise just green foliage. All in all, it's all coming together quite well, and our Sarracenia pitcher plants are putting up more and more pitchers, and when you look inside, they are collecting a lot of insects. And just in front of this is our Santolina Lemon Fizz. This has gotten quite big this year, but finally the flower buds are starting to open, and it's really interesting flowers, and when you crush them they really have a citrusy scent, so you can see where it got its name from. I've planted one of the Colocasia divisions at the top of the stream. We had one here last year and it did really well, so I thought I'd try it again this year, which meant I had to lift the Fatsia that was there beforehand. This was a house plant that a neighbour gave me, and I've planted it out and it started to grow away, but it would get too big for underneath the hammock, so I've put it in a pot. And that Colocasia Thai giant I showed you last week is putting on so much growth, it's incredible. I'll leave it in this pot just soaking up the afternoon sun. And opposite that, the Pseudopanax lateus that we planted and added extra chicken manure pellets because it was looking a bit yellow, has recovered well, and hopefully it will fill out this space in time. This end of the garden is one of my absolute favourite places to sit at the moment. You really feel like you're in amongst the plants. I can only imagine what it's going to feel like after a full season's growth. I'll be completely surrounded by foliage. So with all these new additions settling into their spots, I've had to use a lot of water just to make sure everything is happy. The heat is ridiculous at the moment, so be sure to keep watering, especially if you're growing big leafed plants. But you can see the garden's really starting to fill out and it's getting that tropical vibe. And in time, we'll have our canopy that will protect some of the plants and provide a bit of shade from the heat of the midday sun. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, if you've got any questions, drop them below and I'll try and answer them in next week's video. Hit subscribe and check out our website for more information. See you all next week.